So more than 1,700 units fly off the shelf in the October launches with all the mega launches that was done. And the question is, are the buyers falling into the trap of pricing, or did they fall into the trap of hype that is going on? So we're going to do this video to highlight using Zyon Grand's latest sale, and they have actually performed very well during this launch. And we're going to deep dive into the numbers, especially the pricing. Did the buyers overpay for such a project, or was this project actually a gem in the making that so many of the buyers fall into and went into purchase of this? So in this video, we're going to really kind of go into the details, and we're going to have a full picture. And let me set some context, right? If let's say today you are in the market, and one of the key things is that you cannot run away from deep dive research. And because of that, today you want to make a decision, not just based on emotions, but based on facts and data as well. So in this video, we're going to cover a fair bit. Number one, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what happened in Zyon Grand's launch day prices, and we're going to match it against to the other projects nearby. And the second thing is, could there be other alternatives you could have missed out? Some of you may be having a valid queue number, but because the pricing or even the selections are not up to what you want, and you walk away from that property. And what could there be alternatives out there that could be for you to purchase for your property journey, right? And also, the last but not least is that, is this property, Zyon Grand, the only one that you can go for, or could there be other launches or even future launches we should be looking at? So today, if this is your first time to come into this channel, I want you to maybe just like the video, subscribe to this channel, and it will really help us to gain more traction in terms of providing you more information of property research, data, and analysis. And every week we push out videos just like this to help you as a homeowner to make better decisions, right? So that you don't fall into the unnecessary traps and mistakes that many people are making. All right, so of course, today you can't run away from the big news of where Skye, Holland, even Penrith and Faber, they are doing extremely well in terms of the sale, with Skye, Holland achieving more than 99% of the units sold. And I think this also kicks off the kind of the end of the year shopping spree, right, for the buyers. More than 1,700 units were sold over this period, when Penrith achieving an overwhelming of 97% and crossing every per square foot at least $2,800 per square foot. And of course, the dark horse of the launches this season, which is Faber Residences. All right, I think a lot of there are a lot of comments, a lot of feedback from on the ground that Faber may not be doing very well as compared to the other mega launches, but this period it actually performed almost 86%, which is astonishing. And I think it has everything to do with the reason of the pricing that is starting from about average about $2,160 per square foot. And so of course, all this are what happened during the launch period. And I just want to give you guys a glimpse of ever since the launch until now, how has the project sales been like. All right, so we're going to dive deeper into it. So let's take a look at first is Faber Residences. So during Faber Residences, they sold 344 units. All right, so they left about 55 units of the units, and most of them, if you can see here, is the 4-bedroom and the 5 bedrooms. So usually the big units are the one that takes a little bit longer, but the developers will have no worries, right? Because they have 5 years to actually sell their property to avoid the ABSD. And since the launch of 86% until now, let us take a look at how he has transformed and you can see now they have actually moved about 5 units since the launch day until now. And let us take a look at the other developments, and let's go with Penrith. So Penrith at the moment, they have left only 15 units, okay? 15 units. We have the 2 bedrooms of 13 units as well as the 4-bedroom premium. So why is this important to know what is the available stocks? So the question is, if let's say today a lot of the projects are being sold out, 80%, 90%, are we talking about the inventory or the supply in the marketplace has dwelled in? Okay, so this is also a very key indicator when we are looking at properties to help us decide when is the right time for us to enter and exit the property. So I will be going to do another video that I'm going to talk very deeply into the updated supply and demand situation. And if you want to also keep yourself updated of the next video, do remember to subscribe because I do the videos every single week that's able to help you and me as homeowners and investors to make better decisions in property. All right. Or maybe you can also put in a comment, what kind of videos would you like us to provide for you? What kind of insights, what kind of research and data you will require, and then we will actually push it out for you at the same time. All right. So coming back to this, this is of course the property type. Right now, if you can see, right, the sale process for Skye at Holland, originally they did about left only about 3 units, which is the 5-bedroom premium, and right now the 3 are still available. All right, so any one of you who are looking for the bigger plot kind of layout and size, which is the 4 and 5 bedroom, there are choices in the marketplace. Skye at Holland is just one of them, and if you really need to deep dive into what property type for the 4 and 5 bedroom suits your property plans better, you can also let us know. And of course, what can we forget about Zyon Grand, achieving 84% and sold 590 units on the launch day. All right, so till date, right now, we left about 110 units. So they are a good mixture of units, and generally all the bigger 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms, right? All the smaller units are mostly snapped out already. So this has been the trend for most of the new launches. And this is why if let's say today you are also looking at 4 and 5 bedrooms, you may not necessarily need to jump in immediately, because there are plenty of opportunities out there that it could be also be better valued, undervalued, and the hidden gems out there in the marketplace. So today, if you have missed any of the 4 big launches out there, you will have one last chance before 2025 closeout, which is the Sand. All right, the Sand will be launching in November period. And this is also another very similar traits of how Faber Residences is being perceived. I think out of all these 5 launches, a lot of people are kind of putting down on Faber as well as the Sand as the underperforming dark horses. But in my opinion, there are always different grades of buyers for different price point and different type of properties. So even though everybody, when you compare these 5, the 2 kind of don't stand out, but in the context of purchase, you will have a certain quantum that you will also be favorable. And if new launch is the strategy that you want to use it to climb your property ladder, next, that what I always share with my clients, how to do it, how to plan your next 3 moves, then the Sand could be something that you're looking out for. Okay, so I just want to go to give you guys a quick overview of what the Sand is happening, what the Sand is. So just to give you some overview. So the Sand is, of course, near to our Bukit Timah, and their pricing starting off is about $2,199 per square foot. All right, so that's why they have the 1 bedrooms, and the pricing, when is the last time you saw a price that is below $1 million? Okay, so that's why you can get this at the Sand. And they have a mixture of 1 bedroom all the way to 4 bedroom types. And you can see the breakdown of the number of units there as well. All right, so the Sand, the key thing is that today you must understand why is it they are able to actually sell their property over even at slightly $2,200 per square foot and starting off even less than $1 million. All right, it's also down to land prices that we want to look at. And let us use the previous launches as a guideline to see how has the previous launches that has done so well and sold so many different units, more than 1,700 units over October itself. And will Sand also project the same outcome based on pricing? Okay, let's take a look. So if you understand, for Skye at Holland, they purchased the price at about $1,285 per square foot, which makes their average per square foot for Skye at Holland is close to $3,000. Whereas for Penrith, their land cost was about $1,001, and the average selling price is about $2,800 plus. And Faber, which is 86% sold, their land cost was about $900 per square foot, and the average selling price was $2,160. So why is it important for you to understand this? Because a lot of times when we are getting comments from the ground on the buyers, right, they were always saying that, oh, if the land cost is lower, which means the selling price, developer will also sell lower to us. Yes, in different market, of course, that's why we need to deep dive into the different criteria before we select a property. So if we use the closest comparison, which is Faber. Okay, Faber land price is about $900, and the average selling price is already $2,160 in such a location where the MRT is a little bit further away. And this becomes a benchmark in the marketplace. So today, I always share with my clients, the quicker you can accept the reality of how prices moves, the faster you are able to make a better decisions, an informed decision to move forward with your own property plan. But if today you keep holding on to a 10 years, 15 years, or even just 4 years ago pricing, and today you keep looking back, then chances are you may have a lot of disappointment because your expectations will be prices will be lower, and that will result you in waiting out, and you may miss out many different opportunities out in the marketplace without you realizing. So using Faber's, it is $900 per square foot, and then average selling about $2,100 per square foot. It gives us a good gauge that because for the sand, they had purchased their price at $840 per square foot, which is even lower than Faber residences. So are we expecting them to launch maybe 2,100 plus onwards? And this is the indicative prices that the developer has provided. So do take note, this is the starting prices of each type of properties. All right, there are of course different sizes for each type that you need to be aware of. All right, so this is the starting price from $2,199 per square foot onwards. All right, so if today you are kind of looking into this kind of price point for a 2-bedroom that within a 1.5 million you can get a 3-bedroom between a 2 million, then you may want to also take sand as a consideration factors. Maybe some of you have went to Faber, but you did not get a unit. Maybe sand is something that you can consider. Of course, the locations are totally different and depends on your preference and depends on what's your strategy like for the next 3, 4, 5, or even 6 years. To give you some perspective, the sand is actually a very nicely laid out. I think when the sand came out, I kind of like that because you are within the luxury of landscaping, you're within the nature. It does give you a very different vibe and showdown when you're there. One of the closest just TOP project is called the Verdell. And if you personally just drive down to Verdell and then you just walk through the entire environment, you can have a very quick sense of how the sand compound is going to be and the idea of living near nature is. Right? It's a totally different vibe, total living lifestyle that you get in the sand versus if you are in an urban city where everything is concrete. It's totally different when you're staying near the land, what you call it, nature reserve. Right, so the layout are also typically very well spaced, and they have big enough compound for very nice landscaping. All right, so if today you are kind of like, okay, I want to see how I can use new launch to kind of build your net asset value, right? And you do not want to get stuck at every single time you're worried about how you're going to exit. That's where we are able to actually scan your QR code and seek a second opinion from us. Or maybe you're already in the market and you've been going launches after launches, but you just cannot decide which is the kind of launch you should go for. Then you want to scan the QR code and get in touch with us so that we can help you. Right? We can help you to pre-select the exit-ready type of properties. Because 90% of projects in Singapore, we will eliminate them. Okay, you cannot purchase those properties. And we want to personalize this advisory and consult for you to make an informed decision, because basically, are there any logic in the sales recently behind all these crazies? Excuse me. So this is to show that this is live. All right. So the question is, are there any logic behind the crazy sales? Okay. I think one of the key important things is that today, in every new launch season where there is a couple of mega projects coming together when they are selling, it could really trap you, and you may be limiting your gains because you may be buying in with the wrong intention or wrong thinking. And what's some of the challenges I constantly see during this kind of new launch season, and buyers struggle and to make a decision. And I can share with you, this will happen again and again because of how the environment is and how in 2026, how the launches are also going to predominantly also happen the same way, where a few mega launches are going to come in together and launch almost at the same time. Then that's where you need to be extra careful with where you want to go, your directions. And these are some of the struggles that I usually see where buyers are heading to. And will this also happen in 2026? The key thing that we notice is, yes, it will be, because one of the key things a lot of buyers are very concerned about is the future launches when are they going to be done? All right, so we have seen the first group, which is Ori, Alta, and Oria, when they were launched all this within the same period. Then you have the Marina, OMG, Bloomsbury, W Residences Arena East came in the second batch. Then you have Lindenwood, Upper House, Rivergreen, and all these other projects that come in within the same period. And last but not least, you have the latest Penrith, Faber, and the Sand, all these kind of clustered together. And it will make you as a consumer very confused, like, should I wait? Should I go for the latest one? Or should I wait for even next year? So there are a lot of all these questions that you'll be asking yourself. And if you're somebody who has been going launches after launches, hoping that you are going to get a good Q number, I will really suggest you to really seek a second opinion to decide, is this really the plan that you should be going for? You know, because you could be missing out on great opportunities, or maybe you're being guided incorrectly. That's why you're unable to make any informed decision. And then when you look back, I could have bought that property. I should have bought that property. And now you have missed those both. Are you going to repeat the same cycle again? All right, so this is something important for you to take note, because for next year onwards, right, these are all the expected launch prices. If you want to have this information, you can also type in the comment and say that you want the new launch expected prices in 2026. And then my team will reach out to you, and then we can actually furnish you with more information on that. Because of the current launches price, we already have the future 2026 or even 2027 and beyond, kind of where the prices are going to be. All right, so how do we track that? Is because we are using land prices as a guideline. And this gives us an indication, like I believe some buyers are waiting for the Tampines launch in the OCR market with the good performance from Parktown Residences. A lot of units, a lot of buyers they wanted to get, but it may have missed the opportunity. So many of them are waiting for Tampines to be launched. And of course, we have Lakeside Drive, Thompson View, the top of the town. Finally, they are able to actually achieve the go-ahead, and then it will be launched in the third quarter of 2026. So we're going to see more launches over the third quarter. But that says, right, like even Bayshore is going to be in third quarter, and then Q4 you will have Chuan Grove. So that says, right, does it mean that you as a buyer, you just wait until 2026 Q3, then you start waiting for all these launches to start purchasing a property? So always remember, property is not today I want, tomorrow I can buy kind of timeline. Perhaps some of you may have properties you need to sell. You may need to structure it with your family. And it's always good to start ahead. All right, plan ahead with a game plan in mind, with what the strategy is about, so that you give yourself more time to react. And it's almost impossible for you to decide that, I want to know more information about all these launches, then you start planning or selling your property. It's almost impossible. So I always advise, if you don't have a game plan and you keep chasing the new launches, then you're putting yourself at a disfavor, because our role here is to help you decide, even if this plan is what you want to go for. All right, that we can work backwards to get you prepared for the market. So once and for all, you're not chasing for new launches. All right, you're deciding new launches instead. All right, so that is a very key point. So this is why if today you already have plans, or maybe certain locations you want to do for it, you want to kind of do it much earlier. All right. So coming back to Zyon Grand achieving 84%, I think it was I would not say that is overhyped, but yet the numbers tell me that a lot of times, because of the iconic of this project, a lot of people want in, and of course the location is also another factor that everybody wants to be River Valley area, and that's why for Zyon Grand it performed 84%. So in my own context, to be fair, I did not predict that it will sell so high. Okay, my own projection was about maybe 78%, close to 80%, not above 80 lah. Okay, that's my projection. Maybe even sometimes when I was doing my research, it's like, maybe it could be about 60 something to 70%. But as I go deeper into the research, I believe the cutoff was about 75 to 78%. So I'm not too far off, but I think Zyon Grand also outperformed by itself, because during that period, there were so many different launches. So the question is, a lot of buyers already bought. So there's still so many buyers. All right. So if you're interested to understand the phenomena of this, okay, are there really so many buyers to buy property or not? Are you guys concerned? Are you guys worried? Are you guys like question mark like, hey, actually who's buying? Actually, Singapore got so many buyers, man. Got so many people got money to buy property, man. Yeah, so if these are some of the questions, maybe you also want to comment inside, subscribe to this channel, or get in touch with you so that we can share with you very personally with deep dive research that we've done to share with you what is actually happening so you can make a better informed decision. All right, so if you have potentially missed out on Zyon because of pricing, because your queue number was not good, or you've been in the market searching for somebody to really give you a blueprint to help you plan out your entire property strategy, then you may want to actually seek second opinion. Because if you have missed Zyon, we have actually prepared a list of what are the alternatives that potentially you can go for, indicating all the prices. And we have done the research on which property is an exit-ready profile that you should be going for. And out of this group of properties that we have shortlisted, which one suits you? Which one matches to you? Because majority of this property may not be ideal for you. All right, so that's why we want to also offer you this opportunity. If you have missed out, whether it's Zyon, whether it's Penrith, whether it's Skye or Holland, or the previous launches, we have all done similar research to back up what are the alternatives that some of them very interesting. They are actually much better price without you realizing. All right, so this is our job to help you get into the market with confidence, with clarity, and not guesswork. Okay, so let us take a look at the first thing that we want to compare, of course, is the 2-bed 1-bath. So we're going to use Zyon Grand's latest pricing, right? And if you have seen my previous videos, I was doing a lot of comparison between Skye, Holland, Penrith, Promenade, Rivergreen, all this comparison. So now with the prices out, I just want to give you guys a quick overview of what has happened. All right. So generally, we have to pit all the properties within the same location. Okay, we try to we want to compare them as close as possible in terms of size, in terms of location, in terms of floor level as well. So on average, what we saw was for Rivergreen, their jump per floor was about 7,000. Okay, for Rivergreen. And Promenade Peak was about 5,000. And why the difference? Because Promenade Peak is much higher at 62 floor, right? And Rivergreen is lower. So usually if it's a very high-rise property, the jump per floor, usually the gap is smaller. Okay, so it's smaller. So based on this, you can see that from a pricing perspective, let's say we just use Promenade Peak because Zyon Grand and Promenade Peak is the same in terms of height level. Their pricing from the second floor is about 1.43 million. And we use the 40th floor as a benchmark, it will be 1.625 million. All right, so always remember for high rise like this, from the 40th floor to the 62nd floor, there will also be certain price premium because you're really going high. So as a buyer, the question is, do we really need to pay the extra premium from 40th floor to 62 floor? Or if we can get the 30th floor to 40th floor, that will also suffice. So these are some of the things that we always consider when you are purchasing a high-rise property. So using this as a guideline, right? That's how we derive the per floor jump on average because we got all the prices. And let me share with you for Zyon Grand 1-bedroom first. Okay, let me share with you 1-bedroom prices. So on average, right, their 1-bedroom averagely is about $2,900 per square foot, comparing about 1.371 billion. So you can see from the, let's say just use a very low floor price point, right? You can see the lower floor price point, which is level 3. It starts off with about 1.311 million. And then we use a mid floor that is almost like maybe 35th floor on the higher side. It went up to about 1.446 million. And the moment when it crosses the 30th floor mark, right? 20 plus floor mark, they already crossed the $3,000 per square foot. So during then, when the launch happened, what we noticed was the higher floor ones were the one that was taken up first. Okay, so they're willing to pay above $3,000 per square foot. And the bigger the queue that is behind, they have to accept owning the lower floors. And why would they still go for it? Although there were a lot of people pitching about the view and everything. The key thing is that today you are not only just buying because of view, you're also buying based on location, the convenience of Zyon Grand going to the MRT and all the shops nearby, the location. That's the premiumness why people are willing to even accept a lower floor unit like third floor, you see. So sometimes when an iconic project comes in, there will always be this kind of noise going on. No, low, this kind of, if can we buy the high floor, low floor nobody will buy. Okay, but when it comes to actual purchase, there will always be a certain price point for every single buyer. Maybe the higher floor are already out of their budget, but they still want their location. That's why they will choose the lower floor units, if you can see. Because ultimately, it also depends on your queue number, right? So one of the factor is it really ideal to always go for launches when nothing is being guaranteed? Now, I would say nothing is guaranteed anyway, but it's just that you're kind of gambling with your ballot number, right? If your ballot number is in front, it also doesn't mean that you will get a good unit. Because it's also down to the price. And if you get a bad unit, it also doesn't mean that you won't get a unit. Sometimes the bad unit still get to choose certain of the balance. So kind of the decision making is very illogical to some extent. Of course, we try to make it logical by giving you a lot more frameworks, a lot more criteria to work on to decide if this project is what we should go for or we should walk away from it based on price. All right, so there's a lot of research and data that we come out, different criteria, different frameworks to help you make a more informed decision to be confident, right? So if not, when you come into this situation, it really don't make sense, right? Oh, I got the money, but I can only buy a low floor unit, that kind of situation. So if we base on the one bedroom, now let's take a look at the two bed. Okay, let's take a look at two bed. So two bed, right, averagely is already crossing 3,000. And from here, you can see the fourth floor. Again, we take the lower floor so that you have some benchmark of prices. All right, it's already 2,700 balls per square foot, about 1.482 million. And if we use the higher floor, which is the 37 mid floor, or we call it mid floor, they are per square foot already crossing the 3,000 at 1.64 million. So it's almost, for 30th floor, you're paying about 200 over 1,000 extra. And then when we jump in to the 60th floor, okay, so 60th floor, it was also the last few that was transacted. Okay, a lot of people just don't want to go so high, right? Because of the quantum, because the quantum already went up 1.7 million. So if you look at these two, right, the price point, right, jump of almost 50 floor, right, is almost $300,000. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, will the exit in time to come be different? So how much will you want to exit if, let's say, you purchase a $1.7 million property that is on the 60th floor? Maybe you want to add a certain premium, you want to sell at 2 million. Okay, 2 million is very conservative. Okay, actually very low. It's a low conservative. And for, let's say, to make the same $300,000, for the fourth floor, I need to sell at 1.7 million. And for the 30th floor, I need to sell at 1.9 million. All right, about 300,000. Let's just use this number. So that's why your planning for entry and your exit must be very careful. When we are looking at prices for purchase like this, if it's you, put in a comment. Okay, which one will you purchase if, let's say, you have all these prices and money is not a concern, you have the best number in the queue, and you have a selection to choose a low floor unit, a mid floor, or even high floor based on the pricing. And now that I've showcased to you potentially how the exit is going to be, which one will you want to go for? All right, there's no right or wrong answer. Share your answers, and then maybe I can explain to you more in the description. So this is one of the strategy that we also do whenever we are helping clients to purchase new launches, to decide on unit type, floor level. Should I go for bigger or smaller sizes, facing? All these things need to be planned out much ahead. So using this information, right, what we have noticed when we calculated, the Zyon Grand site was actually very cheap in terms of their floor jump. Why? Because they actually only load per floor jump about $4,900 per floor. Okay, per floor level on average. All right, there are some premium on some jumps, but those jumps are negligible actually. So at this price, right, of this jump, right, you're able to get a 2-bed 1-bath. All right, and Zyon Grand is an integrated property, and their size is very comfortable, right? 538 square feet, 538 square feet. So And from here, you can see that from a 38th floor, you are paying about 1.6 something million. It's very comfortable. You see, because how much is the Rivergreen? Let's say we use Promenade Peak. Promenade Peak, right? Let's say we go back here, right? Promenade Peak, 40th floor is already 1.625. Okay, 1625. So this is on the 40th floor. So today now you are getting 1.4 plus, sorry, no, not this one, 1.641. Almost the same pricing, but of course layout also play a very big part. So the key thing is that if today, based on this pricing, hey, you're actually paying cheaper than Rivergreen, definitely. Okay, and today I can pay 1.723 for the 60th floor level. So this pricing is actually Promenade Peak, 1 bedroom. Okay, this is a 1 bedroom, remember. This is not even a 2+ study, it's a 1 bedroom. So today I'm paying 1.625 for 40th floor for 1+ study. And based on 37th floor, I'm paying 1.64 for 2 bed 1 bath. So in future, when you sell, will your Zyon 2+1 become a more attractive sale? So this is how we always look at. You need to look at how to exit even to buy a property. So a lot of our research that we do, how we eliminate 90% of all the projects in Singapore, because we are always looking at exit-ready type of properties. Okay, it's not just to buy any kind of property. All right, so next we look at 2 bed 2 bath. Okay, so this is 2 bed 2 bath guideline. They are jumping about 11,000 for Rivergreen and then 6,000 plus for Promenade Peak. So for Zyon, okay, so for Zyon Grand, right, their per floor jump, which is something that we also quite kind of projected or their floor jump on average is about 6,000. Okay, 6,002 thereabout. So we projected also about the same. And right now for Zyon, the per floor jump, because it's 6,002. So if we look at the price point, right, so these are the real numbers being transacted. We can still pull out a low floor unit like 3rd floor at $2,700 per square foot, and it jumped to 1.77 million. And then if you go all the way mid floor, let's say we talk about let's say 42nd, 41st floor. Okay, I think this is a good comparison. You can see the jump, and that's why how you divide to have averagely maybe about 6,000 plus per floor jump. So this gives you a good indication that even if you go up all the way to 58th floor, it's 2.11 million already. All right, so anything above the 40th floor, basically you will be crossing the 2 million for a 2 bed 2 bath. Okay, and 2 bed 2 bath, why is it that people will still pay for it? Later on, we will also dive down a little bit, because there are different sizes for the 2 bed 2 bath. Right. So this is the smaller one at 646. So they have a bigger one at 721. See, so we want to kind of understand the logic behind some of the pricing, and this also gives you a good indicator for your future purchase to see how prices are like. So based on this pricing, hey, Rivergreen, let's say for example, if we use Rivergreen, right, you can see from here their size is smaller, okay, and people are paying 1.8 million to even 2.13 million, and these are the low floor to the high floor. So low floor already starting from 1.8 million. Can you see the difference? For low floor, 1.77 million, and the moment it goes higher floor, actually Rivergreen and Promenade Peak, basically no fight one, really no fight. So of course layout plays a very huge part for this, and that's the reason why today if you're looking at some of all these layouts, you need to be extra careful on how to look into it, because for the 721 size layout, this is how we use it. And if you can see for Riviera, right, they already transacted at 18th floor at 2.5 million. This was already transacted at 818 square feet. Of course, Riviera is non-harmonized, so there are some wasted space here and there for your AC latch, and then their size, although is bigger, once we kind of do a breakdown, the difference are not going to be too much. So Riviera is 818, Zyon Grand is 721, So the aircon ledge is about 3 square meters. So yeah, of course, typically for River, you're still paying for a bigger floor plate. But if you look at Zyon Grand, is purely livable area at 721 square feet. So of course, previously the projection was about 2.5 million. But let's look at Riviera 18th floor at 2.5 million, and then we use it to see what's the actual transactions for Zyon Grand at 721. So here you can see at the 18th floor, right? So we can see an average lah, or 18th floor at 2.5 million. Today, you'll be paying, of course, the size are smaller, so we need to plus minus from there. But today, for the same amount of 2.5 million, actually you can buy almost even, I mean, we don't have I never show you the higher one, but let's talk about 50th floor lah. Hey, you're only paying 2.3 million eh. Alright, so why am I sharing with you all this? Because pricing is how we determine how we can enter. So there are a lot of properties for launches, especially because you don't get the prices until the last minute. It's going to be very confusing, a lot of numbers flying around until you do not know how to make a decision. But if you have done all this prep work beforehand, you're aware of your neighbor's pricing, you're aware of where's their benchmark, isn't it going to help you make a better decision on the selection day? So in this case, if let's say, give or take 721 is smaller, all right, at 3,100 plus per square foot. But today, if I exchange the size for a jump of to 50th floor, is it still worth to consider? Because from 18 to 50, there's a huge jump. And I do not need to pay 2.5 million. Okay, I do not need to pay 2.5 million. I only pay 2.3 million, which means my overall quantum lowers, my loan also lowers, my money mortgage always lower. Which one would be a safer choice? So one of the key things that we always look at is we want it to be a safe purchase. Okay, whether you want to sell or not, whether it makes profit or not, it doesn't matter. The end keyword is it safer in this area compared to the other projects? All right, that's why we do a lot. We do a lot in terms of comparison of prices to make sure that we are very, very safe and we don't overpay for a certain property. All right, so I hope that this helps. And if this is your first time that you are joining us, do also subscribe to the channel and like this video so that we can continue do more research and comparison to help you. And if you have any projects that you really want to deep dive in, right, you kind of, oh, I want to buy this, but I don't know whether, does this make sense? All right, you can reach out or you just put in a comment. Maybe we can do a video for you. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at 3-bedroom. And so this is the fun part. Or if you look at 3-bedroom types, of course, for Rivergreen, their 3-bedroom, you can see here, 786 square feet. Okay, so they do a very small size so that the quantum is easier to accept. And this is on the 3rd floor. Okay, at 2.18 million. The 36th floor is already 2.7 million. So their jump, right, per floor is close to 14,000. Whereas for Promenade Peak is only about 10,000. And from the 2nd floor of Promenade Peak is 2.8 million and 40th floor is about 3.2 million. So the per floor jump is about 10,000. I mean, give and take, your floor plate is bigger, that's why your jump is higher. So how does Zyon Grand final pricing compare? So Zyon Grand also got different sizes for 3-bedroom. So we use the smallest 3-bedroom because for Rivergreen, no choice. But we will also take a look at the bigger size unit later on as well. Okay, so we will use a small one to see how does it compare to Rivergreen. You cannot use it to compare to Promenade Peak. The Promenade Peak is so big, 1033, right? So we use Zyon Grand 818. Okay, we use Zyon Grand 818 square feet to do a calculation. All right. So based on this type, the per floor jump is also about 9,300. Okay, averagely. Also, which means Promenade Peak and Zyon Grand's per floor level jump for a 3-bedroom is kind of very similar. And that gives us a good indication. So this will give us a good indication to determine how the prices are like. So for the 818, you can see, right, the prices are a little different for the 818 types. Okay, they are different. Now, of course, I pull out random numbers so that we can kind of see where's the estimate per floor. And that's where we are able to see how the prices are. And at the end of the day, for Zyon Grand, their starting price for 2nd floor is actually about 2.2 million for 818 square feet. Okay, the second floor. So if we use the per floor level jump, right, and then we go and calculate, let's say for the 40th floor, okay, it will be about 2.604 million, right, which is, you can see, the 40th floor is already 2.686. So that's how the numbers come about. This is 40th floor, 2.604. This is 36th floor, 2.693. And you already 4th floor more and cheaper. And of course, we don't say about the size and everything, but just based on quantum. You're getting a bigger size, you're getting a cheaper property. Would it sell in future? Are you safe enough? All right, keyword, are you safe? So this is how we start looking at to do the comparison, you see. Because the ideal world is all properties can sell. But the question is, which one can sell first? Okay, that's what we are trying to do, right? Because time is money, right? So we always want to make sure that the property that we do, we are able to exit when we want to. It will not get stuck. All right, give and take the prices, the sizes. So these are all how we protect your future sale in how you buy. Okay, I think this is very important for us to take a look. All right, so then let's look at the bigger size for the Rivergreen, right, which is 872. So their jump per floor is even higher, the loading. Okay, so for loading high floor, you do need to take note whether the high floor units, especially if you are somebody who likes high floor, you like the view, you're willing to pay a premium, do also take note of, if you're paying a premium, there will also a premium that you want to sell. And does floor level really equates that additional 200,000, 300,000 more? Will the buyer pool be very small? I think ultimately it still ends up with, do they have the affordability to pay for such a high floor unit? Okay, so this is the 872 square feet configuration. Second floor already start from 2.5 million, and then the 30th floor is about 3 million, right? So this is Rivergreen. So if we look at Zyon Grand 861 square feet, okay, we're going to see Zyon Grand 861 square feet to compare lah. So quite close in terms of size. Also both are harmonized, so everything kind of compared to each other. So and then we pull out another comparison for Zyon, which is to see the difference. So if their 30th floor is already 3 million, let's take a look at Zyon for their 42nd floor, 2.78. Can you see the difference? All right, 2.78. So 30th floor for Rivergreen, okay, for Rivergreen is at 3.012 million. Now you can get Zyon for 2.778 million, almost the same floor, almost the same size. Wow, 200,000 different one. Am I getting higher floor? 10 more floors higher. So these are very important. Of course, right now, the prices are already out. It's easy to say this is what happens. But that's why we reverse engineer the entire process, is to first, when we already know Rivergreen pricing is like this, we are using this as the benchmark every time when we are going into a new launch. We benchmark it, we have a range, we have to do an entire matrix of prices. Later I'm going to share with you how we do this, so that you understand the process that will bring you to just to make that one decision, so you don't get trapped in your property. Okay, this is extremely important. And that's why, especially for a 3-bedroom, because of 3 bedrooms, the quantum is bigger. You may want to hold it for a little bit longer. You don't want it to be a quick sale, and you don't want to get stuck when you have changes in your property plans, right? So this is very important. So let us look at the bigger 3-bedroom now. So Rivergreen biggest for, actually this one for them is the 4-bedroom 980. Okay, 980 size. Alright, so we use the sizes to compare. Average up to 23,000 per floor jump. Prominent peak about 10,000 as well. And they're 1033 square feet for the low floor, starting from 2.8 million, and then 40th floor at least 3.2 million already. Alright, so this gives you a good benchmark. So now we look at Zyon Grand. They are 1055 square feet. Okay. This one, the difference is it's a 3 plus study. All right. And it comes with a home shelter, an extra study that you can also double it up as a helper's room. And there's also a WC. All right. So it's a really proper configuration, and you can kind of turn this into a 4-bedroom. Okay. I won't call it a mini 4-bedroom. Why? Because if this is 980 is already a mini 4-bedroom, then my 1055 square feet cannot be called mini mini X or I don't know how they name all the handphones, maybe mini X. This is much more comfortable, it's sizable, and if we base on this, their average, right, per floor jump is about 12,000, about 12,000 per floor jump. Okay, so you can see now you can see a certain trend, right? The smaller units, their per floor jump is smaller, but when it goes bigger and bigger, the per floor jump is also higher. So for Promenade Peak, they only did about 10,000, whereas for Zyon Grand, they went up 12,000. So this is also how the developer strategy is, because they also aware, if I'm going to go for 3 plus study, buyers are going to buy it and they're going to stay on it a little bit longer. And because of such a location, they are willing to pay a little bit more. So these are all strategies that we won't know how developers are going to price it. But if we know Rivergreen's and Promenade price point and per floor jump, it gives us a good benchmark to weigh out. Are we overpaying? Did we pay extra premium? Yes, we are okay to pay premium, but is it overkilling it in terms of premium, right? And if it's overkilling it, why do we still want to move forward? Should we walk away? Should we still decide? At least you are aware of what's your plan next. All right, you don't just blindly going in. All right, so for Zyon Grand 1055 square feet, per floor jump is about 12,000. So you can see right now, let's say we use Promenade Peak now, because quite close in terms of floor level and everything. So Promenade Peak is of course 1033 square feet. Let's just use the 40th floor at 3.2 million. Okay, let's take a look at Zyon Grand, right? How the prices are like. So for 40th floor, at least this is 3.2 million, right? For 40th floor, let us just pull out 38th floor. 3.387. Okay, 3.387. And let's say we talk about 45th floor, 3.454 million. 3.454. So the question is, if Promenade Peak at 40th floor, which is close to this, okay, 40th floor, is already transacting at 3.2 million. And now you are getting a 38th floor at 3.38 million. 45th floor at 3.4 million. And it's only a jump of 7th floor. Does it make sense for Zyon Grand buyers to buy this 3-bedroom? Okay, this is very real because it's all transacted, and what we are trying to let you understand is, if you already have known Promenade Peak and Rivergreen's benchmark pricing, of course Rivergreen pricing is much smaller, but Rivergreen 36th floor is at 3.5 million. So Rivergreen is, in terms of pricing, is a little bit overkill. Yeah, but of course when Rivergreen was out, there was no benchmark, right? So this is also one of the big risks when you're going into a certain project, when you are the only launch, you have no benchmarking, you are not doing comparison. So a lot of people just jump into it because it seems cheap. But when you pull out the numbers right now, Rivergreen don't seem cheap anymore. Even Zyon Grand, if you look at these numbers, it may not be the cheapest. Now, there are definitely other key traits, right? Layout are also a key concern. The facing are also a key concern. And whether you prefer Zyon over Promenade Peak. Also, there are a lot of other criteria to look at. Now, right now, today, we are just basing on numbers as a criteria, which is, if you ask me, is one of the most important, one of the most important to benchmark so that we don't make any mistakes. Okay, so this is very important for you. So of course, if you look at 1076 square feet, okay, the average is about 3,001 to 3,002 per square foot. And for the same Rivergreen that you pay for 980 square feet unit, you can get a 47th floor. Where is it? For almost a 47th floor lah. Okay, I was checking it, 47th floor. And this is just slightly over 3.5 million. Okay, slightly over 3.5 million. Versus Zyon Grand, you are smaller and you're getting 36th floor. You're 10 floor more and you're paying almost the same price. Bigger unit as well. So this is where it also highlights that today, if you have bought 1055 square feet versus somebody who have bought 1076 square feet, the competition will be extremely high. And 1076 actually will outperform 1055 square feet during the resale market. Okay, this one I can almost guarantee because you are basically the safest. So if any one of you have purchased a 1076 square feet, congratulations. I believe maybe you have done your homework, maybe you have not, and you guess your way through. Ultimately, I believe you will have a safer exit in future. All right, so those who have bought 1055, not saying that you did not purchase correctly. It's not that it's not a good project. You purchase it due to different reasons. All right. So whatever I'm sharing this is really just based on my own opinion and how I look at numbers. And I hope that this can also give you a good insights of how we should be prepared. All right. Whenever we are going for launches like this, where we are looking at properties, not just on how we like it, but also the numbers part of it. All right. So I think this is important for you to really look into. All right. Let's look at 4-bedroom. Okay. 4-bedroom, I think the numbers are not a lot, so it's easy to compare. For Promenade Peak, why we use Promenade Peak? Because this is the only one that also have private lift lah. So we want to compare apple to apple. So Skye at Holland, Skye at Holland also have private lift. So for Skye at Holland, right, their size is 1464 square feet. Okay, and their 4th floor is about 4.05 million. All right, and when we go and look at the 40th floor, is about 4.831 million. Okay, so in order to pay, of course, Skye don't have 60th floor. So let's say we look at per floor jump for Skye is about 21,000. Okay, their jump is about 22,000, about there. So if we calculate and based on 62nd floor, if Skye Holland launch at 62nd floor, right, then you will have to pay almost 5.351 million. And this is Skye Holland, remember. So if we use this, because they have private lift, Promenade Peak also got private lift, and then we use it to compare, then you will start to realize, is Promenade Peak pricing effective or not? Okay, so that's where you start to look into, and their size are almost similar. Okay, so 4.9 million, 4.5 million and this is on the 62nd floor. Okay, 62nd floor, they're only paying for 4.95. Of course, we use 40th floor as a closer comparison because this is actual pricing, and Zyon 4.83 million versus Promenade 200,000 more. So which one will you decide? All right, so that's why sometimes the launches dates, when they launch, they are so 100%. Don't just look at, oh, it's a good buy, I just go in. Future launches will be good. Start looking at the numbers, start putting out all this data. And that's how we provide access to our clients to have all this ready before you even do anything later on. Yeah. So then we look at 4 bedrooms for Zyon. Okay. So this is the transaction 1421. Okay, you can see the situation for the 1421. Their 39th floor is really at 4.573. Okay, 4.573. So if you compare this to using Promenade Peak 44th floor, which is at 4.81, 4.61, sorry. 4.61 million. This is PP at 44th floor. Okay, so quite comparable. Okay, quite comparable in terms of pricing. So when it's in the resale market, I think everybody will start looking at more the details like layout, the facing, the quality, all these things will start to come in. So the key thing is that you always want to stack up as many perks and as many advantages you want in your property as you can. Not that you will have everything 100%, it's impossible. But when you're comparing and stacking up against the other project, right, you want to have maybe 1 or 2 more things that it wins them. So it will make your resale easier in future. That's really important, because if you cannot sell a property out, it's just money stuck inside that property. And yeah, so what if the value go up? You can't exit out, which means you can't unlock this cash out for your next move. All right, so this is extremely important. So if you look at this, you will look at, that today, Zyon, based on 4.573. So actually, not very expensive lah. Or if you look at it, at 2,000, I mean, of course, the lower floors are about 2,700 plus onwards, and their per floor jump is about 16,000. All right, 16,000 for Zyon Grand is about there. Okay, so actually very cheap, or if you compare. So overall, the bigger the quantum for Zyon, actually it makes a lot of perfect sense. Then another school of thought is how many of them are able to have this 5 million to actually work with. So that's why the pool of buyers are smaller. But if money is not a concern, the bigger the property size, actually you are safer. Okay, you're safer in terms of entry. Your exit will also be limited because there's not many people who are willing to pay even above a 5 million. Not that don't have, it's just that the group will be smaller. All right, so it depends on your journey in terms of probably what is your plan for your property. That's why we are able to kind of curate a proper entry as well as exit strategy for you. So interestingly, I just want to show you the 5-bedroom. Okay, 5-bedroom. This is the numbers that we're looking at, 10 million. So who says Singaporean cannot buy property? Or even PR lah. Okay, so some of the buyers are PR, they pay 5% EBSD. So these are things that is happening. Accept it. Don't keep thinking about property prices are going to come down. It's not going to be, all right, until when it says it's not. Okay, so why is it that we're so confident in guiding many of our clients into this? How many of you agree that actually there's a lot of work done into each purchase, not just looking at what I like, what the location, my budget. We actually over-prepare every single time so that we don't get you to fall into all these mistakes and trap that other people do. And one of the key things that we do very well when you're working with us is that we will map out your new launch ladder. Okay, we will guide you through a 5-step process, right? To really help you to move forward with your plan and not just looking at it from a one-dimensional level, not a linear way. We want to really look at it much more macro level. The first thing we always do is we don't just do what's next. We will actually map out your next 3 moves. How do you use new launch to climb up the property ladder? Okay, step by step, without unnecessary risk. And we lower down those risks in criteria. And then we will do an audit. Okay, we will do audit to filter off all the hype that is going on. We will eliminate 90% of the launches out there that you cannot go in. Okay, based on your time, based on your budget, based on your affordability, based on everything that we are going to work towards. And when it's time for you to really, if you're going for new launches, then we need to have a strategy. All right, because you don't want to go in and queue with hope, right? You don't want to pray, oh, I will get this unit. You want to know exactly what's the strategy that you need to adapt. Should you enter? Should you buy higher? Should you go lower? Should you change units? Should you walk away even? All right, so these are the things that you need to be overly prepared. And when we are able to select the correct unit, we want to make sure that there is exit ready. It's not just I buy for the sake of buying. There must be a certain criteria, there must be certain benchmark to let us know that whatever we enter is safe to exit. And then, of course, most importantly, how are you going to continue to do this again and again? All right, so these are the things that we bring you through so that it's easier for you to make a decision and not just guess your way into property market. All right, so if today you find that whatever that I shared with you makes sense and you may want this kind of support, or you don't, you had somebody to help you, but they did not over-prepare for you, and you want somebody to really kind of handhold you, the next launch, Ascend, I hope that you don't make the same mistake, okay, due to whatever reason. I really hope that you are able to seek a second opinion to really kind of work out, could there be a better way of looking into properties instead of just jumping into it? Or maybe because it's your friend, it's somebody's relative, you're obligated. Always remember, this one obligation will potentially lock you for 10 years with no margins. Okay, I just had a call, I just had a consult with a client. They have bought a certain property in a certain location and they have been holding it for 15 years just because it's a friend and they feel obligated and now they're stuck. Okay, I don't think you should be paying 2, 3, 4 million on an obligation. I think it's unfair for you. I think it's unfair for anybody who takes that and then say that I don't want to risk. But ultimately, you are the one who paying it. You are the one who need to hold on to this property, and you need to suffer with it if it did not perform or did not perform up to your expectations, and your 10 years will be locked up. Okay, this is something that I really want to pre-warn you all, to really seek a second opinion if you can, because there are too many people who falls into different traps in the marketplace, unfortunately. And we are practitioners ourselves. We've been doing it ourselves. We are still very much invested in property right now. We are also, we just sold. We're going to re-enter the market again. Last year we bought another one. So you must have somebody who knows the game well, knows exactly what they are doing, and they have also helped their clients to achieve all this. So if you find that today you got a tremendous value, I really hope that all of you are able to kind of like the video, subscribe to this, and share this out. So let this also become an indicator for other friends of yours. If you find that this is useful and this is valuable enough, that you really need to do this before you make any major decision in property. All right. So with that, I really thank you guys for staying on, and share in the comment what type of videos would you like me to do that we can deep dive into it and start making decisions not based on emotions, but also with logic. All right. I see you guys. Cheers.